Hello, Reed. Welcome to the United Stand. Manchester United 4, Real Betis 1. Not over two legs, over one leg. I tell you what, can we do reverse Super League where Man United go and play in La Liga? Because we win the league every bloody year. They're rubbish. I was looking at actually, Sociedad lost 2-0 to Roma, but if they could turn that around, get Sociedad in the next round, Sevilla in the semi-final, then we're in the final. We just want La Liga teams. We're too good. Another one done. But no, on serious notes, look, I think responsible talking here, that doesn't rectify Liverpool. The players know that, the manager know that, but you can only do what's in front of you. And this is the great thing about having this game tonight. You know, many people don't like the Europa League, but it was the only tournament we could be in. And if we weren't in it, we'd be waiting till Sunday to try and rectify what happened against Liverpool. To go out there and beat a good Real Betis side 4-1 it's a really good performance. And look, there's only one place to start for me. He's my captain. I think he's absolutely incredible. And his name is Bruno Fernandes. I think he's absolutely superb. And I think that you look at that game from minute one, it was obvious that he was on it. I've mentioned in the past about how we've won like about 65% of our games when he's been our captain, and I think that the media witch hunt is a disgrace, and I've spoken about it many times. But the best way to answer your critics is by doing that, because there's an injustice about the way Bruno's been treated this last few days. He didn't ask to come off, and that's tarnished his name, and we still haven't had an apology like that. All before the game on BT, they're showing clips from Liverpool. They're absolutely out for him, 100% out for him, in an unfair way. And the best thing he can do, look, Ten Hag can take him aside and say, look, I know it's not you, it's unfair what they're doing. But the best thing he can do is just go up yours to everybody by putting in a performance like that. I saw somebody in our chat saying, oh my God, you're celebrating beating Betis 4-1 when you lost 7-0 at the weekend. And I'm like, but what? We haven't won a trophy for 6 years, and we won the Carabao Cup. We've not been in a title race for 10 years. We're shit. We've been shit for 6 years. And now we're not meant to celebrate beating Betis, who are in 5th in La Liga 4-1. The Liverpool result will always be there, but surrounding it is improvement, success and momentum, and then we've brought it back again tonight. I look at that United side and I still think there's massive holes in it. I mean, I was so pleased that Weghorst scored, but if we had a quick striker, we'd score more goals. I think low-key, I think a lot of people will agree with me on this, Eriksen has been a massive loss to this team. It needs calling out. Eriksen was sort of, and I heard somebody say it earlier, and they're right. When Michael Carrick played for Man United, he was an underrated, unsung hero, but he knitted the team together. And, we talk about when Rashford's not fit, when Bruno's not fit, when Varane's not fit, when Casemiro's not fit. But I think this team's massively suffered without Eriksen, and that's to its credit. I think we haven't got a top-class number 9, which a club like Man United should have. We've had to put our number 10 on the wing at times. Fred is inconsistent. He does a good job, but he's a bench player. And yet we're still winning game after game after game. And yeah, Sunday was a disgrace. But tonight, I thought Bruno was marvellous. I think he is the captain of the team, and he proved why he is today. That team responded to him, and he was everywhere. Casemiro, Varane and Martinez were back to what they do. I don't think they'll get enough credit. But, at the end of the day, I think De Gea probably had his worst game for Man United tonight. His distribution was terrible. And, thankfully, if his distribution was like that, I wonder what his shot stopping was like. He just didn't look right, De Gea, tonight. And but they had no shots. They had one shot on target, which was the goal, which never should have stood, by the way. That's a disgusting decision. Whether you win 4-1 or you lose 1-0, that's still a disgusting handball. But they didn't do anything because Varane, Martinez and Casemiro bullied them like they have been all season. They just had that blip at Anfield. So, look, that trio, the Bermuda Triangle, they were back. Attacks disappearing in them. Bruno was magnificent. Rashford got his goal. Weghorst never stopped working. Anthony sat his critics down with a worldie. Who else? Luke Shaw was a lot better. Wan-Bissaka came on and did well. Fred was okay. I think all in all, you can't ask for a lot more than that. And then you get a cameo from Pellistri, which was absolutely brilliant. Sancho got a bit of time. Pellestri's a chance magnet. I want to see more, says Ben. Look, Pellistri is a player that I wouldn't expect to be talking about him this early in the match reaction. But when he picks that ball up, Betis haven't given up. 3-1, they can take that back to Spain. 2-0, basically, isn't it? Score first, it's squeaky bum time. 3-goal gap, they know they're done. That Pellistri goal, don't let that confuse you that, it's just at the end of the game when everyone's tired and they've already lost. That we're only at half time. If Betis keep it to 3-1, they're still very much in the game. If it goes to 4-1, it's over. He picks the ball up with his back to the penalty box and 3 players on him and finds his way around all 3 to put a cross in. That's won us the tie. There's no way on earth we should be going out now. So Pellestri's made a massive impact. I think he's a really exciting player. I've said it before, he's got that low centre of gravity that people like David Silva, Bernardo Silva, Foden, even Messi have got. I'm not saying he's on their level, but, I think you put him in a light blue shirt, I think he'd be getting a lot more game time. I think he's a Man City, Barcelona type player, and that doesn't mean he's going to be a success at Man United. Those types of players do fit a certain system, but I think he's an intriguing player. He probably deserves a little bit more game time, but there's a lot of competition for places. Gary Neville and his crew can jump. Bruno's my captain, says Voy. And Mark, what about De Gea's distribution? Look, I don't want to talk negatively. I'll talk about it when we do the player ratings. But I've already said that I think I'd have to acknowledge that De Gea had a really bad game tonight, and I don't know why. Maybe something's going on with the contract. I don't know, but I disagree about his distribution. I think he gets over scrutinised. But tonight, even I would say, bloody hell, what's going on? But do we want to focus on negatives and kicking people out of the club and all that bollocks, or do we want to focus on the positives? Because I think there's been too much negativity this week. And look, Dalot got took up at half time. Wan-Bissaka came on and played really well. I think Wan-Bissaka proved he should be the starting right back. I like Dalot. I prefer Dalot, but at the moment, Wan-Bissaka's performing better. But I'm not going to focus on the negatives, because at the end of the day, what was it Ten Hag has said? We win as a team and we lose as a team. And that's what we need to be focused on. I can't get on board with this. I really can't. And I'll be honest with you about it. I can't get on board anymore with what has been the last 5 years, where, we're doing match reactions and watch-alongs and basically going, you're shit, get out of my club. I don't really feel like that anymore, because I feel like for the first time in years, we're actually building something. And as part of building something, some things will be discarded. But I don't think there's anybody in that squad, whether it's Harry Maguire, Scott McTominay, Brandon Williams, Dean Henderson, all these players that I would sell, I don't feel like going, fuck off, get out of my club, you shit. It's more like, I think you just need to be moved on so that we can move to the next level. And I hope you can go and play first team football somewhere else. I don't like it when I see people in the chat, being abusive to our own players, because I don't think this season justifies that. And someone like Dalot, up until the World Cup, was absolutely amazing. And that's quickly forgotten, that Wan-Bissaka was shit. And now Dalot is struggling and Wan-Bissaka's brilliant. And is that not the definition of flip-flop? Because these people who are saying Dalot, get out, I guarantee you in September and October you were saying, brilliant, sell Wan-Bissaka. Have a bit of respect for both players and figure out that, what if Wan-Bissaka pulls his hamstring? We're going to need Dalot. I think as fans we need to start winning as a team and losing as a team. Like, there will be changes. Maybe we will sign a 60 million goalkeeper. I don't agree with that, but if we do, I'll back them. We need to start building that siege mentality. I think we've been very good at that this season. But look, back to the game. SBT could be a good name for your podcast. Don't know what that stands for, Bradley. Hope Ten Hag continues to play Bruno more in a number 8 role, says KB. I loved Bruno in that deeper central role, similar to Eriksen. That gave us so much control, says Sakin. We should sell Sancho and Elanga. I don't think they're bad, but we should sell them, says HX. I want to talk about that. Bruno Fernandes was brilliant today, and but I don't think he would have been as good off the left or the right wing. And I think it's a great observation to make, because he's not the same off the left and the right. He's the captain of the team. He's the heartbeat of the team. And when you play him on the left or the right, he's out of the game. And when you play him in the midfield, whether it's 10 or as an 8, they're showing the handball again. That's disgraceful. I don't care whether it's 4-1 or not. That is a disgrace for VAR. He literally stops the fucking ball with his arm. That's disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. But, yeah, Bruno has to play in the midfield. Play him in the midfield. And we're a better team for it. So hopefully we're going to stick Bruno more in the middle. Because you're right. You know, Bruno and Fred interchanged a lot. Fred was going as the 10 and Bruno was going as the 8 a lot. It just confirms what I said a couple of minutes ago. We miss Eriksen massively. Massively we miss Eriksen. And Bruno today sort of compensated for that. And we want Sabitzer to we do want Sabitzer to be helpful in that position. But Bruno was magnificent tonight. I've seen the light. Maguire is faster than Weghorst, says Wolf. And I personally love Aaron Wan-Bissaka. It creates competition for the right back slot, says Sumi. We need competition for every position, you know. We're going to go through the player ratings now. Links in the video description. Mark every player out of 10, 6 being the average. But we need competition in every position because, you know, Ten Hag, and I wanted to say about Ten Hag, he picks the same team as Liverpool tonight. And whilst it was brave, it worked. And he still made the subs in the second half, and he made them quite early. He took Delo off at half time. You know, he did make subs quite early. I think it was around half an hour that Rashford and Shaw came off. So he made changes, but the team is more than 11 players, as he said before. But he sent the message out, and they did respond. And Anthony's goal for me, look, I personally don't think Anthony's overall game tonight was that good. Let me be honest. If Anthony doesn't score this goal, I think most people would give him below 6 because he should have squared it to Weghorst, and he was a bit selfish at times. But that goal knocks him up into a good performance because it's a brilliant goal, and you build the confidence from that. Anthony, whatever you think about him, he's scored quite a few goals this season. He scored 3 goals in his first 3 Premier League games. And it's about confidence. It's about confidence for Anthony. There's no negativity around it. He should have squared it to Weghorst, but we still won the game 4-1 and Weghorst still got his goal. So it didn't do any harm. If I'm Ten Hag, I'm taking Anthony aside. I'm going, well done. I want to see more of that. Oh, next time, make sure you square it to Weghorst. Just positivity. That's what it's all about. But, you know, Garnacho didn't get on tonight. Sancho and Pellistri came on, and in their own way, they both offered something. Our finishing was poor, 13 shots on target. I'll take perseverance to build it up, says Carmack. Look, the response is good. The response is good. Your Anthony tweet, aged like fine wine, says RS. Thank you, mate. And I don't know what Anthony tweet that is. And we should have won 8-1 at least, says Max. Mate, we've done enough. We've done enough to win tonight. Fred has kept us going. No, he's not the greatest passer, but without him, I feel he gets disrespected. I mean, I ain't got a problem with Fred. I don't think I even spoke about Fred in the actual game. You know, I didn't really notice Fred. I've got to be honest. I didn't notice Fred as a major problem at Anfield because lots of people said he played really bad. But what are you going to do? Like tonight, Sabitzer's not even fit. Eriksen's not fit. Like, are you going to play McTominay over Fred? No, you're not. We don't have anybody else. So I'd sort of give Fred a free pass. He'll always work. He'll always work hard, and I think he's you know, at this moment in time we need it. Right, let's go through the player ratings. So David De Gea to me was a 5 tonight. I don't think it was a good performance from him. He didn't actually have anything to do, but his distribution wasn't good, and I'm not going to pretend that it was. You know, there was too many mistakes and they could have been costly, and he didn't get to make any saves to put it right. I love De Gea. He's world class. But you know what? If you're going to do player ratings, you can't just say, I like this player, so I'll never give him below average. Tonight, it was a 5. It was below average. You know, it's nothing personal. Delo, I don't think Delo was bad. I'd go 5.5 with Delo. I agree with that. I do actually think that Wan-Bissaka came on and he deserves to start and he's playing a lot better. But, you know, I don't think Delo is as bad as people think he is. I just think Ten Hag looked at it and went, we can do more. And Wan-Bissaka's in better form. And it was a brilliant substitution and Wan-Bissaka was better. But I do think people are running away with the Delo stuff a little bit because they want Wan-Bissaka to play. They're trying to say Delo's total horseshit, and he's not. He's just not as good as Wan-Bissaka at the moment. I felt Varane was really good. 7, yeah, you know, what an absolute confusion Sunday was, because Varane and Martinez have been amazing this season, absolutely amazing, and they were dreadful on Sunday. But I do think it was a blip. I do think it was a blip because they were back, exactly like they've been all season today. And same for Martinez. I'd give him a 7 as well. I thought they were both, they had it on lockdown. With Casemiro, they had it on lockdown. Luke Shaw tonight, look, he was absolute pants in the second half at Anfield. I don't think he was amazing tonight, but he was probably a 6.5 for me. He did get forward well, put some good crosses in. Probably could have done a little bit better on the goal. Probably could have got across a little bit better. But I do think the goal was a good goal, even though it never should have stood for them. So, yeah, 6.5 for me. And again, Casemiro, look, I've played the game. Steady Eddie. If that's Steady Eddie, he was a strong 7 for me. And that's what Ten Hag would have wanted tonight. And let's be blunt here. If Varane, Martinez and Casemiro give you the 7 out of 10, you've won the game. Because if those three play a 7 out of 10, how are the opposition really going to score more than one goal? Like, they've got that defence on lockdown. That's what we built our season on, them three. Everything we've built is them three. Tonight's one of the rare occasions where we've scored 4 goals. Most of the season, we've been winning 1-0, 2-0, sometimes 3-0. It's that 3 that underpins our success. And it was those 3 that just disappeared on Sunday, to be honest, which was really weird. But, if you get... You're always going to get that with them, and that's what we want, isn't it? Great to see Casemiro and Varane playing as well, because I was worried about injuries. Fred, probably a 6 for me tonight, maybe a little bit above. I'll take a 6 from Fred in a game. After Sunday, I'll take a 6 from Fred, because we know with Fred, he can be brilliant, terrible, or average. And, an average Fred performance tonight is absolutely fine. Because the thing about Fred when he's average is it's not like he's going to be lazy. He'll always run around. An average Fred performance for me, which is fine. That's absolutely fine. Bruno, probably a 7.5. I'm happy to go to an 8, but I thought, I think you're probably right with the 8. Really, I didn't like. We've seen the bloody red card tackle about 1 million times more than the bloody handball. I mean, it's just not. Sometimes you can see with the first shot, like, it's not a red. The fact that they keep looking at it, they're trying to find a red. It's not a red. It's just not a red card. If it's a red, you go foot forward, studs up. He goes sideways on. Straight away, he's not. It's not a red. It's just not. It's a yellow. It's not a red. If you're giving red cards out for stuff like that, you've never played the game. It's a red. It's not a red. But look, that's probably the best performance we've seen from Bruno for quite a while. It was, if he can do that every single game, we're laughing. That for me is what Bruno Fernandes is all about. He's involved in everything. He pops up with a goal. He could have had an assist when he played Anthony through. That's what Bruno is. And that's so much about him being central. Because the thing about Bruno is, the more he's got the ball, the more good things will happen. You put him on the wing, you're still going to get the misplaced pass. You put him in the middle, you'll get the misplaced pass, but it'll be on the ball more. Anthony reminds me of Nani when he was at United, says Anthony. Look, if Anthony can be like Nani was a decent player. Nani was a very good player. Nani was unfortunate that he was at Man United at the time that we had some bloody brilliant players. But, Nani was good. If he can get anywhere near Nani, he'll be a good player. I'd give Anthony a 6.5 tonight. I'm happy to give him a 7, but I'd give him a 6.5 because the goal, and I'm a big fan of Anthony, as you know. I've just realised we've exercised the demons of this jumper as well, because I purposely wore it tonight, because this is what I had on when we won 7-0. We lost 7-0. Any news on the joint Manscaped wash and go bid, says AJ. And most goals we've got all season, no, says Robert McCormack. Probably. But I'd give Anthony a 6.5 because I think you've got to, set the bar higher than that. The goal was amazing. That's what he can do. It's funny because just before the goal, somebody said, what's your honest thoughts on Anthony? And I was saying, he's unrecognisable to me to what the player I was excited about from Ajax. Because when I saw him at Ajax, he was scoring goals like he did tonight. His touch was good. He was running at people and he was putting crosses into the box. At United, we've seen a few goals, but his touch has been off. He's not running at people. He's not putting crosses in. So my thing with Anthony is I back him because I haven't seen him yet. And I think tonight we saw another glimpse of what he can be. There's so many more gears to go through. And look, tonight, he probably should have been up there with Bruno. He could have had 2 goals and an assist. He had 1 goal and it was a worldie. So I think there's more to do. There's more to come from him. And I think if you took the goal away from Anthony, a lot of people would say he had a bad game because they've been moaning about he didn't square it, he didn't pass enough. So the goal provided him with a good performance and a platform. So, if you want to go 7, then that's absolutely fine. If you want to go 6.5, perfect. I don't know what the joint Manscaped or wash and go bid is, mate. So I can't answer the question. I laughed it off as you were being funny, but I genuinely don't know what you're talking about. Rashford, probably 6.5 from Rashford tonight for me. I thought he was a bit quiet, to be honest. But his goal, I put him in the same category as Anthony. I thought Anthony and Rashford played well, but when you actually dissect their game and take the goals away, there was probably a lot more they could have done. Fred wants to give him a 7.5. Look, I love Rashford and I want Anthony to do really well, but I only gave Bruno a 7.5. I don't think there were 7s, in my opinion. Maybe if I knock Bruno up to an 8, then it's a 7 for those 2. But I'd put Bruno a clear point clear. That's what I'm trying to say. Weghorst, 6.5 for me as well. Yeah, which is consistent with Rashford, 6.9 for you. So, yeah, I like Weghorst. I've said it so many times. He's very limited. He's very slow. But we've got nobody else, and he works his arse off. And I was so pleased that he got his goal. And at the moment, Martial's not fit. I think he's better for us in the number 9 shirt. Was there tonight, felt crowd wasn't there first half, came together second half. Hopefully this is Ty put to bed. 100% Jake, and I hope you enjoyed it. Wan-Bissaka, I'd give him a 7. I thought he played well in the second half. I know he wasn't on the pitch as long as a Varane or Martinez, who I gave a 7, but I just think when you've got Wan-Bissaka in the team at the moment, we're a better defensive unit, and that gives you a better platform. It's not working for Dalot going forward at the moment, so Wan-Bissaka's perceived weakness as an attacking fullback isn't really a weakness because we're not getting enough out of Dalot going forward. So, as I say, I think at this moment in time, Wan-Bissaka should be the first choice right back, and Dalot's got a bit of work to do. But we've seen that at left back. Luke Shaw wasn't the first choice left back at the start of the season. Competition for places is great. Second time we've hit 4 this season after Villa in the Cup, says Alex. Thank you very much for that, Alex. Malacia, probably a 6. Sancho, probably a 6 for me as well. Nothing wrong with what they did. They got a good half an hour and, they were steady. And that's what you want to see. It's very important that players come onto the pitch and maintain the rhythm. And both those players maintained the rhythm of the team. That's really important because if you look at Liverpool, Fred came off for McTominay and we conceded 4 goals. Sabitzer came on and I think we conceded. And every sub we made, we kept conceding goals. So it's very important when a sub comes on in whatever game it is that they at least maintain what's going on and that you don't drop off. And a lot of the times you make subs and the team drops off a bit. So fair play to them because the momentum and we did continue to dominate. McTominay, probably give him a 6, nearly scored a goal. Palestri, I'd give him a 7. I really, really would. I really would. If Wan-Bissaka's getting a 7, Palestri I know was on the pitch a lot less. But for me, he's got to get a 7 because, they're about to show it on the TV now. There's nowhere to go. He's got 3 players on him and he skips past them and then he makes the angle to put the cross in. It's brilliant play. I'm not messing about. That is brilliant play from Palestri and he deserves a 7. It was a big, big play from a position where he shouldn't have been allowed to do that. So, give him the credit. He deserves it. He really does. So, Ten Hag, 7.5. Yeah, high 5. We're bang on with that. Look, I said it when he picked that team. It's a brave thing to do. You can understand why he did it, but a lot of people didn't agree with it. I probably wouldn't have picked the same team. I don't think most of you would have done. But he did. He's the manager. We trust him. And he got it right. And the players responded for him. And the subs came on and did well. And the team's back in the right place. It doesn't put the Liverpool result out of the picture. We've got to go and beat Southampton. We've got to make sure that we've finished this tie off in Spain, and we've got to beat Fulham. And then we've got an international break. So important we win on Sunday. So important that we beat Fulham. But that result tonight makes the second leg against Betis a formality, hopefully. It's good man management. It's a good response. Time and time again, over the last few years, a bad result is followed by a period of bad results. The main thing you can do after a horrible result is kill it. Kill it dead so that it doesn't infect you, because that's what a blip is. Everybody goes through a blip. And when you lose a game like Liverpool, you'd expect to maybe drop points in a couple of more games or 4 or 5 games. If it's one game, it's humiliation, but you only lose 3 points. 7-0, 1-0, it's humiliating, but you only drop 3 points. It's so important that we react and surround that horrible result with wins either side, and that's what we did tonight. Ten Hag, man of the match. He did a great job getting the team back to shine. Look, the fans, the manager, the players. You know, everybody needs to take credit, because we win as a team and we lose as a team, and it's been a tough few days, as you know. Man of the match, I think it's going to be Bruno. It's just going to be by how much. I haven't voted. Shit. Remember, we've got the fan forum in the studio after this. We love that. Let's have a look. I say 76% of the vote. Smash a like on the video for Bruno Fernandes, my captain and yours. He's been absolutely pummeled this week, especially in the mainstream media. Disgrace. Absolute disgrace. Tonight, he sat them down in the best way you can. On the pitch, man of the match performance. In a big game against a big opposition. It's not the tournament we want to be in, but, you know, it's still a response. And it's a big result for Manchester United. And that's absolutely fantastic. Thanks, everyone, for joining me tonight. It's been an eventful one. You know, brilliant cameo from Pellistri. Great goal by Rashford and Anthony. Voot got his goal. Bruno was fantastic. Casemiro, Martinez and Varane were back on lockdown. Some big positives there. And we move on. How many points in our next 5, says Rat. I don't know what our next 5 is. I'd have to have a look. I'll be back on the morning show. Don't forget to get onto the fan forum now. Voot, there it is in the chat. I'll speak to you in a bit.